This is the prince, and they're thinking about trying to bring him back.
In 1979, a massive revolution in Iran brought about the Ayatollah Khomeini to power. The then Shah of Iran and his wife, Her Imperial Majesty Farah Pahlavi, were forced out of their homeland. This is them leaving at the airport. But under the Ayatollahs, the freedom that they promised never materialized.
What a surprise.
In fact, they cracked down, beating and imprisoning women who refused to wear hijab, gay Iranians, anyone who dissents.
Who could have guessed? Can you believe that? Wow.
Damn. That, I would. But I thought they said.
Now the son of the late Shah, His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi,
that's the new guy,
who has been in exile, is advocating for a new future for Iran. He says he believes that the moment is now. He posted this on social media, quote, "The Islamic Republic has reached its
I saw
end.
this.
It is in the process of collapsing. Khamenei, like a frightened rat, has gone into hiding underground and has lost control of the situation. What has begun is irreversible." I spoke with him moments ago, the exiled Crown Prince of Iran. Here's our talk.
What was it? Okay, so they actually talked to him.
Crown Prince, thank you very much for joining us at this historic moment in time. It's good to have you with us.
Good afternoon, Martha. Good to be with you as well.
Tell me, first of all, Crown Prince, what is your understanding of what is actually the situation on the ground right now in Iran?
The latest report that we have had, Martha, is that the control apparatus of the regime is almost collapsing. And we see more and more of that sort of reports that are coming to us from personnel within the military or intelligence that says so, that it's really falling apart much faster.
Replace a dictator with a king? Well, it's important that Iranians get to... If Iranians decide to have a king, then they should have the right to have a king. We shouldn't force them into a democracy. We should let them decide their own fate.
Than it was, let's say, last week. The problem, however, is that the regime has cut off the nation from any communication, internet, and even landlines are down.
Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, this is the thing is, like, this is why it's so hard to know what's going on over there and why, like, there's so much bullshit coming out of it is that there's just, like, no internet. So it's hard to even know, like, are they getting bombed over there? How much of it is happening? Where's the information? Because the internet is so sparse.
That are trying to figure out what's happening to their loved ones cannot communicate.
I guess so.
And I hope that we can overcome this problem very soon so the nation is not detached or unable to communicate, which, as you know, is crucial for anything that needs to be done. The regime is so desperate that it's now taking this initiative to impede.
No. The thing is that, like, I'm not really a big fan of kings, but I remember there was a guy I was talking to in Saudi Arabia, and we had like a 3-hour conversation about why he thinks it's better that they have a king than a Congress like the U.S. has. And I can't say that I totally agreed with him, but he made some good points. He did. I was like, well, yeah, that's true. You're right.
Process, but I know we will overcome this. It's a big challenge, and my compatriots are extremely resilient. Many of them have stood, in Tehran, besides those who have left the capital city, and their resolve is amazing. Their courage is really amazing. It's a shout out to them that despite all the hardship, they believe that this time victory is near, and we need that courage and that moral support that the world needs to also give us, that this time they're going to be on our side rather than continue thinking that this regime will ever provide a solution. Historic opportunity to put an end to all the problems, not just the nuclear threat, but every other thing that has been associated with this regime ever since it took over. And I think my compatriots have proven that despite the threats, despite the repression, despite being executed, besides being tortured, besides being shot in the eye, they're still in the streets, standing firm, and hopefully at some point the world will say, now it's time for us to step in and allow for this process to take its natural course, help the Iranian people overcome this regime, because everybody as a result will benefit. Not just my compatriots, of course, but I think many people around the world will understand how different Iran a different Iran could be for all of us.
We know that
Yeah,
President
yeah,
Trump
sure.
is currently considering
Yeah, I agree with that.
use of a bunker buster bomb on the Fordo facility in Iran, which is
Yeah.
believed to have a nuclear facility buried deep into the ground. What would you say to President Trump as he considers that option?
To bomb it?
One of the concerns that often is associated with hitting nuclear facilities is the risk of radiation. That could be
Yeah,
something
sure.
very important to contemplate. I hope it doesn't get to this point. I think there's enough damage done to the regime without having to take it to the next level. But if the objective finally is for this regime to completely collapse,
Yeah, I think he's right. It's like, yeah, I mean, they basically, it seems like they're on their last legs already. I mean, really, I mean, they're already fucked. I mean, it seems like everything's going wrong over there. So, like, all we need to do is keep pressure on them, and they're going to collapse organically.
the better element, much stronger
Which is
than
a better
bomb
solution.
and much more effective, are the people themselves. I'll tell you something, Mark.
Somebody says, why does the West think they can install a guy who probably hasn't been to the country in 45 years? Did you just ignore, let me ask you something. Did you just ignore the fact that they did a poll and he was the most popular person to lead Iran in polling of Iranians? So you're saying you believe the Western poll out of Iran? Yeah, I believe it more than your vibe, yeah. Let me give you my logic of why I think that. It's widely reported that the Iranian government is deeply unpopular with its people. Logically, if a government is deeply unpopular with its people, the majority of people will probably think that the previous government is better. And if this guy represents the previous government, they're going to think, let's bring him back. How many times that during President Trump did people say, I wish we had Obama? How many times did people said, I still wish we had Bush? It's faulty logic? No, it's not. Not necessarily. Nothing is ever necessarily. How are they conducting polls while they're getting bombed? Well, the poll didn't happen yesterday. It happened a period of time ago. I mean, are you going to tell me that the poll is invalid because it happened like 3 years ago or something? Yeah, anyway, it's 4 months ago, right? Exactly. Anyway, I got a little bit distracted. I apologize. And let's go back and look at this.
In the past 48 hours, and of course even before that, but especially as a result of this latest campaign, many elements within the military have reached out to me. They're communicating the fact that they're ready to defect, they're ready to peel away from the regime, they're willing to join with the people and demonstrate that to the people. Some elements within the intelligence
That would be great.
sector, as well as the bureaucratic setup. We are seeing more and more defections beginning to take place, which is something that I anticipated and I have called for, because they realize that it's pointless to stay there and try to defend a regime that doesn't care about the nation, that doesn't care about our country. And there are, at the end of the day, some proud nationalists. They believe in Iran's territorial integrity. They believe that their job is to protect the nation, not to kill people under the regime's orders. So this element is one of the factors that is beginning to happen. I hope that in any consideration...
But that has to happen there. It has to be people that are protesting there. Like, if it's not people that are protesting there, it's not going to work.
...that we have, including President Trump, he realizes that this is something that is beginning to become more and more...
This point is why Trump might be waiting every day the Iranian people get closer to throwing off the chains. Yeah, like, I mean, again, I think that somebody brought that point up in chat a couple of days ago, because, like, I originally said that every single day that you let this go on, it gets worse. But I actually think that counterpoint, the more that I think about that, I think that's more relevant and more valid than what I said. And I feel like maybe they're just trying to wait this out and hopefully, hopefully just trigger some sort of action.
Tangible. So I think a strategic pause might be required at some point to allow that process to demonstrate itself and allow the regime to start falling on its own weight, so to speak. And we are living these moments as I speak to you right now. So I hope it doesn't get to a point that we have to go even further. But again, I'm not a military strategist, nor am I an advisor to the president. I'm just telling you that Iranians would hope that instead of our country being targeted militarily, and as painful as it is as a patriot to see that my country has been attacked, and I've always thought that we should try to avoid at the most possible such confrontation just because diplomacy has failed, and instead allow for the process of change at the hand of the people themselves to take place. So I hope that they consider that.
He's completely right.
That as a critical factor, as opposed to our only option after failed diplomacy is further military.
I mean, I certainly think this guy is a little bit more even-handed than the crazy guy that, says that they're going to fight to the last person and he's posting AI videos, right? This guy seems a little bit more reasonable. USA funds terrorist organizations, CIA fucks up Iran, now we're the ones wanting to fix the country? Well, I don't know what that has to do with it. Like, so the CIA did something bad in 20 years ago, and so now we have to accept that they're funding a bunch of terrorist organizations and let people get bombed? What a retarded premise.
That's right.
Understood. So you would not want to see the United States use this bunker buster at Fordo. Is that correct? You would discourage that?
Well, I hope that as the regime is crumbling, is that enough of a factor to have neutralized it sufficient that it cannot do anything harmful, at least in the immediate? Because the whole argument about striking is because of the imminence of the regime's threat. But
he's right
they've
about
been
that.
completely dismantled. The apparatus of air defense, the apparatus of...
So he's basically saying we don't even need to do anything. Like, we don't need to beat them. They're already beating themselves. Which, I mean, part of that probably is true. Like, I mean, I would imagine, like, taking out that much leadership of the government and the military, it probably totally disorients them and fucks them up. Massively.
Retaliation is almost taken out. So I think that sort of pushes back a little bit the envelope, which would allow sufficient time for another phenomenon to occur, which is the one I just explained to you. Mm-hmm. Allow the Iranian people to overcome this regime, help them do that, because that option is always on the table. But what's the rush here? People are...
Anyone defending the IRGC is an actual idiot? Well, there's a lot of... You have to understand that, like, this is the premise of a lot of, like, Westerners, is that there's a lot of Westerners that are so insulated and so privileged that they actually end up thinking that they have common ground with, like, a totalitarian, hyper-conservative theocracy, right? Like, which, I mean, I think it's insane. It's absolutely insane why this happens, but yeah, that's it. And so assassinating 4 days out, yeah. And so you have a lot of liberals and people like that think that they have anything in common with, like, this military and this regime, which is absolutely insane to me to see. It is.
And the ultimate factor. That's what scares the regime the most. So
yeah,
the more the people are empowered, the quicker we can reach that end.
So you have said that you don't seek power, but you are ready to fulfill a duty if called upon. If the people supported or asked you to return as Shah for a period of time during transition, would you be open to that option?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I need a title to perform as a transitional leader. I think the reason people are looking for me to play that role is because of their confidence in me, their trust in me. Mm-hmm. And I think to a great extent, the track record that I've demonstrated in the past 44 years since I've begun. And that trust in me allows me to play that national leader role, if you will, and be able to be the element that assembles people together on a common agenda, knowing that we might differ in opinion, but we are committed to the democratic outcome. So I don't think I need to have any particular title. That would be...
this is a smart answer, honestly.
Putting the carriage before the horse, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Let us be focused on the job at hand. The job at hand is eliminate this regime and replace it with a secular democratic alternative. And this is exactly the end game that I'm looking at, and I'm not looking past that one at this time.
Yeah,
I'm focused only on this mission, and I hope my compatriots will understand that we need not prematurely discuss issues that will be determined down the line.
Mm-hmm. So he's encouraging the people to change the trajectory in Iran more so than the potential of a bomb destroying Fordo. So we're going to have more of our conversation in just a moment.
Is this the Prince of Persia? Yeah, that was the Prince of Persia. Guy's super based. Yeah, I think so. I think he's too smart to leave in charge. Well, I don't know about that. How do we know this guy will be any better? Does he plan to bring Iran back to where it was in the 70s? I mean, I think that's probably where he'd be at. I mean, I don't know his position on everything, but I think it's just important that these people are able to elect a person and have that person represent them, right? I mean, that's what really matters the most. I mean, and that it's probably, right? I mean, I think that a lot of people would be voting for him for that reason. They're like, okay, well, we don't really like the way it is right now, and so we want things to go back. And I think that's kind of what the expectation is. 50% crazy is better than 100% crazy? Exactly, yeah. And I think that this guy seems like a certain fucking improvement over the crazy nutballs they have in there now. But again, it's not really up to me. It shouldn't be up to me. And I feel like a lot of people, like his sister gets speak and not interrupt, works with Iranian people, some of the most warmest people. Yeah, exactly. 1979, the Middle East been insane. Agree with this gentleman. The Iranian people deserve better. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people here obviously support about this, but, you know, it's going to really depend on what the actual people there believe. Is he making Iran great again? Maybe. You never know, but I would prefer him than literal terrorists. Exactly, yeah, that's it. He's been consistent in decades and not asking the U.S. military for helping him. Yeah, and like it does seem like things are pretty much falling apart in Iran. I mean, like again, like imagine if they had killed, like comparatively, imagine if they had killed that many people in like central U.S. leadership positions. I mean, the U.S. would be in absolute fucking disarray. Everybody be running around fucking terrified and stressed out and crazy. So yeah, I think that's basically what's probably going to happen, and we'll just have to wait and see.